Texas overnight time, 42 past the hour. Mike, we had a caller that was touching on something a minute ago, and he said, hey, ask Mike how the banks, when they play this little game with oil each week, how do they find the pigeons enough to buy those pumped-up commodities contracts?
Well, it used to be that the major markets, Charlie, were the commodity CFTC, the commodity trade markets here in the U.S., but now, with this globalization we've had, there are commodity trading markets all over the globe. That's why you don't see any regulation move by Congress to do anything here, because
it would only apply here.
It don't apply here, and all these banks, they just go offshore and use the other commodity markets all over the globe.
So they just phone around till they find a deal they want and sell them off?
That's right. There are all kinds of markets to go, ply your wares at.
So the banks can move with these large amounts of money they've got, thanks to the Fed, that they're getting at 0%. They can bump oil up to 72 and sell there. Then when it fades back down to 65 when they get out, then they buy again at 65, and they're making this yo-yo money every week.
That is correct, and you can watch it. If you watch any of those trend lines, you can see that trend line and what has happened to commodities. And you can also look at that in gold, too. Gold has fluctuated between $920 and $1,030. It topped out right at about $1,030. It's back down to $1,004. But gold moves much more in connection with the fear that the dollar is going to collapse.
So how's the dollar doing?
Well, the dollar is sitting right there at 145 euro to the dollar. The yen is like at 90 cents to the dollar. And so, the yen is strengthening to the dollar. And last week it was a real irony because the Japanese currency czar said that they were no longer going to interfere and intervene into the currency markets, and they were just going to let it happen however it has. And now he's come out this week, and it says right here, it says he may take action on yen as G7 seeks currency stability. So it's a flip-flop. All of our markets globally are artificially stimulated right now. And what Greenspan said this week, he's all over the board. And let me go into a couple of these trend lines that have just been broken. I could, I'm going to keep it simple. I could get real esoteric and talk about the least squares method of developing a trend line. I won't do that.
Thank you.
Let's go into freehand method of doing a trend line. You've got the number of jobs being lost in the U.S. were declining from 700,000 in January, and they declined down to 200,000 jobs in August. And Christine Romer and Larry Sumner's and the president.
Well, the whole team, they're so proud of. They say we're crashing, but we're not crashing as fast. We're not losing as many jobs this week as we were last week.
Right, but boy, what shocked them this week was that number of jobs lost. They were expecting it to be 170,000, and it was 263,000.
Why is that a big deal?
That's a big deal because that trend line that was coming down from 700,000 down to 200,000 in August, they could look at that and say, look, well, see, the trend is down. Pretty soon we're going to get to zero and we'll start, creating jobs. No. It jumped up almost 90,000 jobs lost, more than they estimated. And what's really interesting about those numbers is of that increase back up to 263,000, 53,000 was government jobs lost. The first month since January that there has been a net decline in government jobs.
So, Mike, what do you attribute that to?
The stimulus is running out. Of the one-third of the 787 that they have put out, it all went to the state government to continue workman's comp and to keep all the teachers and to keep all of the cities and the county and the state employees hired. And with California, you even seen it here in the city of Dallas now. They laid off 900 people last week.
Well, California is writing IOUs, Mike, to a lot of folks who have jobs like that.
But what you're seeing is now they can't even offset the job loss in the private sector with creating jobs in the government sector. That's a major break in a trend line. Let me see if I can draw a picture. Start with January at $700,000 jobs lost, through August at 200,000 jobs lost. So you have a continual